All right, let's dive into Marvel Rivals. I know you're all hyped for the next big hero shooter, and throwing in those iconic Marvel characters, well, that's got to be a recipe for some serious fun.
It's wild how they didn't just slap on the hero shooter formula. They really wove the Marvel lore into the game's core. It's not just about skins, it's rivalries, team-ups,
Yeah.
powers and abilities pulled straight from the comics.
Yeah. You're not just Iron Man firing repulsor blasts, it's how those blasts work with, say, Doctor Strange's magic shields. It creates a whole new tactical layer.
Exactly. They took cues from both Overwatch and Valorant. You see the team roles and focus of Overwatch, but with that Valorant spice, that precision ability usage, and those intricate map designs, they basically took the best of both worlds and Marvelified it.
Okay, so we've got two Dooms from different timelines duking it out. They're calling it entanglement, which sounds appropriately chaotic.
Picture this. Classic Doom, hungry for power, wants to dominate. Then you've got Doom from 2099, rocking future tech.
Huh?
And his ambitions are shaped by totally different experiences. It's not just a power struggle. It's a clash of ideologies.
Wait, so it's not just about these two Dooms. This entanglement is messing with everyone. What kind of fallout are we talking about here?
Imagine a world where alliances are shattered and rebuilt. Heroes have to team up with villains they hate, or fighting former allies. Spider-Man and Venom on the same side, Iron Man going against Captain America. This storyline flips everything we thought we knew on its head.
You've got my attention. That's not just a gimmick, that's shaking up the whole Marvel scene. What are some of the big gameplay things that make this stand out?
Those ultimate abilities, they change the whole game. Like literally game-changing events, shifting the tide in seconds. Think Wolverine's Berserker Rage. It's not just a damage boost, it's a psychological shift. Changes how you play. Doctor Strange yanking players into the mirror dimension. You talk about a tactical nightmare.
Whoa, that's not just visual flair. That's using ultimates to weave a little story within the match itself.
Right.
But I'm hearing to talk about how accessible it is. Is this just for the hardcore shooter fans?
They nailed that balance between depth for vets and ease for newcomers. It's like Apex Legends, you can jump in and have fun, but there's layers of strategy waiting to be discovered. Mastering your hero and their role in the team, that's the key.
All right, time for some insider info. What are some of the juicy rumors and fun facts floating around?
The big one, MCU actors might actually be voicing their characters. Can you imagine hearing Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man while you're blasting off? Total immersion. Plus, the devs have been hinting at Easter eggs galore hidden in the maps, like a love letter to the fans.
Speaking of visuals, what's the art style like? I'm getting a Valorant vibe, but I don't know, more Marvel-esque.
You nailed it. Clean and stylized, like Valorant. It keeps things clear during those crazy fights. But they've injected that classic Marvel energy. Each hero pops right off the screen, instantly recognizable. It's Thor summoning lightning, not just some generic zap.
Okay, so we've got this amazing mix of hero shooter action, Marvel lore woven into the gameplay itself, and a storyline that flips a whole universe upside down.
Pretty much.
What's not to love?
Let's just let that sink in for a sec. What's grabbing you the most so far?
Honestly, that entanglement storyline has me hooked. It's not just a cool idea, it's the potential for insane team-ups and rivalries.
I know, right? It's a fresh perspective on these characters, how they relate to each other, and the way the gameplay reflects that with the synergy between powers, the strategic depth. It's all really well done.
All right, everyone, let's take a moment to absorb all that. We've just scratched the surface of Marvel Rivals, but don't worry, there's a ton more to uncover, so stick around for part 2 of our deep dive.
We'll be right back after the break.
Clutch.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've only just started to peek under the hood of Marvel Rivals.
You're telling me I can already see myself swinging through those maps as Spidey. But there's got to be more to it than just picking your favorite and going wild.
You got it. What's the things that makes this game pop is the verticality. They designed these maps to encourage movement in all directions, up, down, all around.
So it's not just about hunkering down in cover, you get rewarded for using the environment to your advantage.
Exactly. Imagine Spider-Man swinging across rooftops to flank the enemy, or Thor raining down lightning strikes from above. It adds a whole new layer of strategy.
Speaking of strategy, let's talk about the ability system. You mentioned customization and synergy. How deep does it go?
It's not just about having a set of powers. Each hero has ways to tweak those abilities. You can tailor them to your playstyle and make them work with your team. Take Iron Man, for example. You could go all in on range damage with his repulsor blasts, or modify them to create these no-go zones. You could even focus on support, giving him an overshield to protect allies.
So even within the same hero, there are different ways to play. But I'm also curious about the villains. They're not just punching bags, right?
Oh, absolutely not. The villains are just as complex as the heroes. Take Venom, for instance. He's this brutal, in-your-face brawler, but his symbiote can pull off some sneaky moves, too. You could be lurking in the shadows 1 minute, then bam, you're behind the enemy, catching them completely off guard.
Talk about a playstyle shift. I can already see the highlight reels. We touched on ultimate abilities before, but I'm dying to hear more. Give me some examples of how they can turn the tide of battle.
Imagine this. The enemy's pushing your base, things are looking bad. Suddenly, Black Widow pops her ultimate, unleashing a storm of precision strikes, taking out multiple enemies instantly. Or picture Hulk, totally enraged, smashing the ground, sending shockwaves across the map, disrupting enemy formations, giving your team a chance to regroup.
Now, those are some cinematic moments. But with all this power flying around, how do they keep things balanced? It sounds like it could get out of control pretty quick.
That's where the strategy comes in. It's not just about having the flashiest moves. It's about knowing your hero's role, countering enemy abilities, and working together as a team. A well-timed shield from Captain America can shut down a huge attack. A clever teleport from Nightcrawler can turn an ambush around.
So teamwork and tactical thinking are key. You can't just go in all guns blazing and expect to win.
Exactly. You got to be aware of your surroundings. Communicate with your team. Use your abilities strategically. A team that's in sync and can predict their opponent's moves. That's the team that will come out on top.
All of this sounds amazing from a gameplay standpoint, but what about the people behind the scenes? Anything interesting going on in the development process?
One thing that really impressed me was their focus on inclusivity and representation. They're putting in the effort to show the diversity of the Marvel Universe, both in the characters themselves and the team making the game.
That's awesome to hear. It's so important for games to reflect the world we live in and to give players characters they can connect with.
You're right. And they're not just ticking boxes. They're doing the research, diving deep into each character's backstory, making sure they're represented authentically.
So we can expect a wide range of heroes and villains, each with their own personality and playstyle, all coming together in this amazing universe.
Absolutely. They're not just throwing characters in for the sake of it. They're weaving them into the fabric of the game, making sure each one feels like a genuine part of the world.
Okay, gotta ask about those MCU tie-in rumors. Any truth to them?
Well, nothing confirmed yet,
Yeah.
but the devs have hinted at future collabs with Marvel Studios.
My mind is racing. Imagine playing through a storyline inspired by the latest Marvel movie, or getting new characters and skins based on upcoming releases.
The possibilities are endless. It could really make the game feel like a living, breathing world, evolving alongside the MCU.
All right, we've covered a lot. Verticality, map design, the deep ability system, the importance of teamwork and strategy, the commitment to diversity, and even those tantalizing MCU rumors.
It's clear the developers are pouring their hearts into this project. They're creating something that goes way beyond your typical hero shooter.
And I, for one, can't wait to see what they come up with next. This feels like just the start of a truly epic adventure. But before we get ahead of ourselves, what are your thoughts on what we've learned so far?
What strikes me is the potential for this game to grow. It's not just about the initial release. It's about the constant updates, new characters, evolving storylines. This feels like a game that will keep on giving, surprising and engaging players for years to come.
You're absolutely right. This isn't just a game, it's an experience that will keep evolving. It's like stepping into a living, breathing Marvel universe.
Which brings up a question. With all these possibilities, how do you see this entanglement affecting the world of Marvel Rivals in the long run?
That's a great question. And honestly, I think we'll find out as the game grows and the story unfolds. But one thing's for sure, the future of Marvel Rivals is full of surprises, and I can't wait to see what they have in store.
Me too. But for now, let's take a moment to process all of this. We'll be back with the final part of our deep dive into Marvel Rivals, right after this.
And we're back for the final part of our Marvel Rivals deep dive. We've talked gameplay, story, characters, those MCU rumors. But I feel like we're just scratching the surface here.
You're right, there's still a lot to uncover. One thing that really stands out to me is the customization. It's not just picking a hero, it's about making them your own.
Okay, now you've got my attention. I love a good character customization system. What kind of options are we talking about here?
Well, first off, there are tons of skins and costumes. Classic comic looks, modern takes, even those what-if designs from alternate universes. But it goes deeper than just looks.
So it's not just about looking cool.
Nope, you can actually modify your abilities. Fine-tune them to create a playstyle that fits you perfectly. Want a more aggressive Iron Man? Crank up those repulsor blasts, maybe add a jetpack upgrade for mobility. Prefer a Doctor Strange who's all about support. Focus on his healing and shields.
Wow, so it's not just playing as Iron Man, it's playing as your version of Iron Man.
Exactly. And it's not just about expressing yourself. The game wants you to think about how your customized hero fits into the team. You got a Hulk built like a tank. Maybe you need a Scarlet Witch to boost his defenses even more.
It's like building the ultimate superhero dream team, finding that perfect mix of powers and personalities.
That's the idea. That's what keeps things fresh. It's not just about individual skill. It's about understanding how different heroes and villains work together, anticipating your opponent's moves, adapting your strategy on the fly.
Okay, I'm sold. This sounds like the kind of game that'll keep players hooked for a long time. But what about those of us who aren't always up for hardcore competition? Is there anything for the more casual player?
Don't worry, Marvel Rivals has you covered. They've got game modes for all kinds of playstyles. Want to chill and have fun with friends? There's a PvE mode where you team up to battle waves of enemies.
Nice, perfect for those relaxed gaming sessions. But what if I'm more into the lore and those classic Marvel moments?
Well, they've got story-driven missions too. You can relive those iconic events, see different sides of familiar characters, uncover secrets hidden in the game world.
So it's not just about the action, there's real story depth here too.
Absolutely. The devs put a lot of work into crafting a story, one that'll resonate with both longtime fans and newcomers to Marvel.
Sounds like they've thought of everything. Whether you're a hardcore competitor, a casual gamer, or a Marvel fanatic, there's something here for everyone.
Right, and with the promise of continuous updates, new characters, and maybe even those MCU tie-ins, the future of Marvel Rivals is looking pretty amazing.
This has been one heck of a deep dive. Gameplay, story, characters, customization, the strategic depth. It's clear that Marvel Rivals is made with passion and a real love for the Marvel Universe.
I totally agree. What makes this game special is that it's not just rehashing old ideas, it's a fresh take on hero shooters, one that truly captures the spirit of Marvel.
So, to all our listeners out there, if you're looking for a game that drops you right into the Marvel Universe, a game that challenges you strategically and lets you unleash your creativity, Marvel Rivals is definitely worth a look.
Get ready to assemble your team, master your abilities, and embark on an unforgettable adventure. The fate of the Marvel Universe is in your hands.
And that brings our Marvel Rivals deep dive to a close. We hope you enjoyed the ride and maybe discovered something new along the way. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into those worlds that spark your curiosity.
See you on the next deep dive.